we see these prestigious schools, we kind of get caught up in the fact that these schools are going to make us somebody. And no, you were already somebody just by getting into the school, starting to apply to the schools. You already have what it takes. And I feel like a lot of us don't realize that we can take that anywhere.
My name is Karina McCosco from Academic Influence, and I am here with Jhaycee Barnes, who will be attending UGA in the fall, and I am super excited for this interview. And so Jhaycee, just starting off so that people can kind of get an idea of what kind of an applicant you were, give us your top 5 list when you were applying to college.
Of course, my top 5 when I started applying to college were Stanford, University of Chicago, Columbia, Duke, and Brown.
Wow, and guys, if you haven't seen Jhaycee's videos, you should definitely go check them out. She goes over like her whole application more in depth, but I have to say when I was watching your videos, I was very impressed, and I'm sure people can tell just by your top 5 list how good of an applicant you were. But kind of just give us a brief rundown of like, first of all, your stats, stuff like that, but also just like what you were considering in a school.
Of course. So in terms of stats, I had a 4.7 weighted GPA and a 4.0 unweighted. I took a total of 16 AP classes, and I did a few dual enrollment as well. I was student body president, and I was involved in a lot of clubs at school. I also had my YouTube channel that I ran outside of school. And in school, really what I wanted was just an intellectual environment that really allowed me to be myself and explore many interests besides the ones that I wanted to pursue a career in. So that's really what I was looking for in a school.
Wow, and you guys, if you can't tell already, Jhaycee was an incredible applicant, but more than just focusing on you as an applicant, because through our channel, we've done a lot of videos to like help people become better applicants, but I really want to dive deep into it. And guys, we're going to get into some real talk here in a second, because I was watching one of your videos, which again, if you guys haven't seen them, definitely go check them out. And something that really stood out to me was when you were writing your valedictorian speech. First of all, guys, she was valedictorian, so just wanted to put that out there. You said that you wished that you had like done more with your class, and obviously being such a good student, you are gonna miss out on like some social things. But I think that like more and more, there's kind of this idea that like all of high school, you're just working to get into college. And so I kind of want to talk about that for a little bit. So knowing where you are now, knowing what school you're going to now, and like how the whole application process has worked out, what do you think you would have done differently starting from freshman year?
Of course. So I was definitely one of those students who spent my whole high school career trying to get into college. And now that I see how my college application process went, it went really well. I'm super grateful for the results that I got. But looking back on my high school career, as I was writing my valedictorian speech, one of the things that some of my teachers told me was to highlight some of the things that you did with your class. And oftentimes, instead of going to do those things with my class, I was at home studying. And yes, those things paid off, but at the same time, high school is such an important part of your life, and I feel like I missed a lot of those experiences because I was so focused on long-term goals. So if I could have done something differently, I think I would have tried to kind of balance my short-term and long-term goals. I'm such a type A person to where I have to have everything planned out and kind of focus on the future, but sometimes I focus on the future a bit too much, and that's something I kind of tried to work on a bit this summer as well, just living in the moment and really enjoying what I have now.
Oh my gosh, that is such good words of wisdom, guys. And so I think this is why I'm so excited to talk about it, because I was also right there with you, like sophomore year. If you're gonna be like one of these strong students, it does take sacrifice. But I think a lot of people miss that like you can still work hard for what you want. You can still do well in school and take some time to like go get lunch with your friends or to go to a football game. And so that's really what I want to speak on today, because, you know, you can really at any school, you can be so successful and you can change your career so many times and still be successful, but you only get to be in high school once. And so just speaking on that a little bit, you for those of you guys who don't know, Jhaycee made an incredibly mature decision, which I am honestly so proud to like. I don't even know you, but I'm so proud to watch your videos and see this decision that you made, because a lot of people can get caught up in kind of like the hyped up like top 10 schools, and you had the opportunity to go to Stanford, Columbia, all these schools that you talked about, and you decided to instead go to UGA on what I might say is like an incredible deal. And so talk about that for a second, because I think you are the perfect person to kind of say to these high schoolers, like, look guys, this is my journey, and in the end, this is like the decision that I came to.
Of course. So, from a young age, I knew that I was going to an Ivy. I have a picture of me in like sixth grade, and I had on a Stanford shirt because I was like, I am going to a top school. I knew I was going to go to a top school. So, as I went into my application process, that was the mindset that I had. And while I was applying to schools, the University of Georgia was one of the first applications that I submitted. And I honestly only applied because it was my in-state school. And in Georgia, we have a scholarship to where if you have a certain GPA and SAT score, you get a full tuition scholarship for all 4 years. So that sounded like a nice opportunity. I didn't think I was going to take it, but my mom told me to apply just to make sure. So I did. And my mom also really emphasized looking for scholarships. So one day I was Googling University of Georgia scholarships, and I found the Foundation Fellowship. And I actually found it about 2 days before it was due. But basically, I read the benefits of the scholarship, and it included tons of travel and meeting with industry professionals. And that was just something that really sounded interesting to me. So I did my application. I forgot about it. And then in about January, as I started waiting for all my other results of my other applications to come in, I got invited to an interview weekend. And that interview weekend really sold the University of Georgia to me. I wasn't 100% sold, but it really showed me that, hey, just because this is your state school, just because this is not an Ivy, doesn't mean that it's not a good school. So as my other application results started coming in, I was super excited, and I kind of forgot about the fellowship because I had a certain deadline to accept it. And I kind of forgot about it until I started getting financial aid letters from my other schools. And those letters were kind of scary because I was realizing, hey, if I want to make this a reality, I'm either going to have to grind on these scholarship applications some more, or I'm going to have to go into debt. And when I started comparing the benefits of my Foundation Fellowship scholarship with these other schools, it just didn't seem like the right choice. And I feel like what a lot of students don't realize is that if they're getting into these top schools, they already have something within them that is going to allow them to shine at any place that they go. And I feel like a lot of times when we see these prestigious schools, we kind of get caught up in the fact that these schools are going to make us somebody. And no, you were already somebody just by getting into the school, starting to apply to the schools. You already have what it takes. And I feel like a lot of us don't realize that we can take that anywhere.
Oh my goodness, that was such good advice, because absolutely, I think you're right. I think everything you said is so true. And guys, that's the reality of it. Like, college is so expensive. When you start getting that bill back, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is real. And so yes, I love what you said about like going to a college does not make you. And that is so true, because I have heard way too many people kind of have this idea that like, if I get into a top university, that's going to make my career. Like, I don't have to worry about anything else. And like, the reality is, once you get to that top school, you're still going to have to work hard in your classes. And also, too, like, will they provide you good connections? Yes. But, you may also find that connection at, like, a Starbucks randomly, or, like, just somebody that you happen to meet. And so I think that is so good. And just like giving advice to these high schoolers. I know we already talked about like social events, but like you said, the University of Georgia gives free tuition to anybody who has a certain GPA. And isn't it people who are valedictorian, or is it just certain GPA and SAT?
So if you're a Georgia resident and you are valedictorian or salutatorian, you can also get that scholarship.
Okay, and so I'm just kind of like speaking hypothetically, and but looking at, obviously that scholarship probably doesn't have all the benefits of the one you have now, right?
Right.
But if you had known like the opportunities that you would have been able to get at UGA compared to an Ivy, do you think you would have told your freshman self, like, look, don't worry about college, just like make it make it enough grades to be valedictorian and then just have fun with the rest of the time, knowing that like you can still get a full ride to UGA if you like, because obviously besides academics you probably had a ton of extracurriculars that you invested time into and stuff like that. But do you think you would have gone back and told your freshman self like, look, don't worry about it, just like make good grades and have fun?
Yeah, I think I definitely would have told myself to relax a little bit. I'm still really grateful for the experience that I did have because, it allowed me to get the Foundation Fellowship
Yes.
scholarship and it allowed me to find YouTube, which is something that I love to do. But I definitely think that I would have told myself, it is okay. You do not have to overcommit yourself to everything and do all these things because you will turn out fine regardless. I mean, so many of us have that spark inside of us already, and that spark is going to carry us no matter what we do.
Oh, no, absolutely. Like, if I could go back and tell my freshman self some advice, like, look, I wasn't even working to like get into a top university because honestly, like when I saw people applying, I like kind of lost hope in getting able to go. But like, I wish somebody would have just told my sophomore self, like, look, you don't need to like eat dinner in your car going from one activity to the next because that's literally the point I was at. And so that is the kind of grind that people think that they have to be on in order to like make their career set. And so I have just loved this interview, and I think it is really speaking to a lot of people out there because the college application process can be so stressful. But let's focus on something a little bit more fun. Next year, what is your plan? What are you going to do? And also like carrying some of this advice from your high school self, what are you going to do differently at UGA?
For sure. So UGA is a big football school. So I'm planning to have a great time at the football games. I've already started to focus on incorporating my friends and kind of spending more time around people that I enjoy being with. So for example, I have a lot of friends that are going to UGA as well. So I've already planned an outing with my friends on move-in day because now I'm starting to really see the importance of connecting with other people. And I've also decided that I'm going to only involve myself in things that truly interest me instead of just getting involved in things because they look good on a resume. Because I did that in high school. I was stressed out, and some of those things didn't really even make as big of an impact on my application as I thought. I remember one of my admissions officers from one of the schools I applied to, she wrote me a note saying some of the things she liked about my application. And one of the activities I did only for college applications, that wasn't even mentioned in the note, and that really stood out to me. So definitely doing the things that I enjoy and just making sure that I'm having a good time.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that is so good to hear. Like, I really feel like you have gained, obviously, you got a high school degree, but also like the wisdom that you have gained from this high school experience. I really feel like there is no assignment that is more important than the people in your lives. And if I could have known that earlier, like, it honestly would have transformed my high school experience. And I'm not gonna lie, I did have fun. I went to those high school football games. My boyfriend's on the football team, so it was fun, but also like just taking a moment to appreciate the people around you. And yeah, I love that you say that like she didn't even mention the thing that you just did for your resume. Well, I don't I don't love that she didn't say it, but because I feel like so many people get caught up in doing like activities just to put them on their resume when in reality like doing something that they love and are passionate about may look just as good on your college application.
Mhm.
And so applying to college, you, I'm guessing, had to start really early for 22 schools I think you applied to, right? And so I definitely was not on top of my game for college applications, but maybe speak to that because there's a lot of people who are going into their high school year, they're starting their college application, and kind of give them advice because, girl, if you applied to 22 schools, I mean, you must have had like something going on. So just speak on that for a second.
Yeah, so I had my Common App essay idea way before I even thought about applying to colleges. I'm someone who likes to really like document my memories and journal and take pictures. So my essay idea kind of came from that. So I'm really grateful that I had those experiences to write that essay. But as far as supplements go, I started researching them the summer before my senior year and just taking note at some of the supplements because a lot of years supplements don't really change. You can kind of look at them and they'll stay the same from year to year. So I kind of started working on those. And once again, I'm a really organized person. So I made a calendar and said, okay, I want to write 100 words this day and 100 words this day. And while I didn't always stay with that, I wanted to write every day. So I tried my best to do that. And it also helped that first semester of my senior year, my school's on a block schedule. So we take 4 different classes each semester. So my first semester, I only had 2 classes at my high school. So I was leaving school at 10:45 every day. And I'm fortunate enough that because of my YouTube channel, I didn't have to, get a job or anything like that. So in my free time, I was either making YouTube videos or working on college applications. And while I know everyone can't do that, I would recommend seeing what you can do to make your time work for you. I know I'm guilty of, spending a lot of time on TikTok or things like that. But when it comes time to really do something, I know that I'm going to have to sacrifice that time that I'm using on TikTok to really work on my applications and get things like that together. And also reusing essays is something I did a lot. I know a why major essay was something that a lot of schools asked. I used that same essay and kind of revamped it and tweaked it to be specific to a school, but the principles of that essay stayed the same for each school that I applied to. So I really recommend trying to see where you can reuse your essays.
Yeah, no, that is key, especially when you start applying to like these top schools or a bunch of these top schools. Like, it's 4 essays for every school, and there's just no way that you can write them all. So thank you so much. I feel like this has been so encouraging and such good advice for people. This is kind of like the part of the college application process that nobody really talks about. Like, everybody wants to explain how to write your essays, how to do good extracurriculars, but nobody wants to talk about the fact that like you are still a person applying to college. And one, you need to enjoy high school and just be a person, be a teenager in high school. But 2, like, also the college you get into really does not make you as a person. Like, I don't know where this idea has I do know where this idea has kind of been feeding from people, but it's like you are a person who is applying to college, and your identity is not found in what college you go to. And so thank you so much. I'm so excited to just see what you do at UGA and see what you do in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity, Karina. I really enjoyed being able to share the things that I learned throughout high school.